Good morning, and thank you everyone for coming and for being shareholders. Really excited to share some updates on LiNiCo and what we're doing. First, a little bit about me. So I was trained as an economist at Tufts University. I spent 15 years in the private equity business, really focused on industrials, power generation, ethanol, and other asset-heavy businesses. I then went on to spend 5 years advising early growth stage businesses in emerging industries, things that were growing up that were new. That led me to found with some partners who are part of Comstock today, the Mana Corporation, where we were focused on feedstock-based business models. And what this means is businesses where there was a lot of suppliers of feedstock that had to be aggregated together to build a supply chain for a successful business. Very similar to the things we're doing here today in both LiNiCo and our biofuels business. And I joined Comstock last year in July, and we've been hard at work since then. So the three things I'm going to cover today is first, the context of the market that LiNiCo exists in and how that affects us. Then, most excitingly, an update on the progress that we've made. And I want to show off today some real developments and what we've done. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's to come over the near term. So let's dive in. A lot of talk today about electric vehicles, a lot of talk in the press and everywhere about electric vehicles. Expecting to grow 18 times through the end of this decade. Now these are numbers from Bank of America. They're very similar to numbers that are universally shared. This is driving an incredible increase in demand for critical metals. The lithium market alone is expected to grow 500% by 2030 into a $221 billion market. Today it sits at $37 billion. Substantial growth, substantial demand for lithium, as well as for nickel, cobalt, and other critical metals. As part of this, projections show that this demand is going to exceed supply just in the next 2 years by 10%. So today we're in imbalance this year. There's more demand than there is supply, and we've seen the price of lithium skyrocket. This imbalance is only going to increase, and we're going to see more of these imbalances and more pricing pressure. What we're doing at LiNiCo is a continuation of the legacy of mining. We're extracting critical minerals from a resource, in this case, used batteries. A resource that's above the ground, that's accessible, that's easy to get access to. The exciting part. Let's put some context. Our process at LiNiCo involves 3 stages. First, receiving, sorting, and storing batteries. We need to get that resource in our hands and in place, ready to access. Step 2, we produce a product called Blackmass. We crush those batteries, and what remains is this black mass where these critical minerals are contained in an accessible form. The third step is to refine that black mass into either pure commodity products or aggregate products that combine those metals together. We're going to focus first on black mass production because that's where we focused first. I'm very happy to say that our R&D in this area is complete just this month. We have a proprietary process for crushing batteries and producing black mass. It uses proprietary equipment that we've designed, that our team has designed and built, that is not easy to replicate. We filed multiple patent applications on this technology and this equipment. And we've completed a pilot plant in our R&D facility in Wisconsin. The process is unique. It's not just proprietary. We use a dry environment throughout the entire process. We completely remove all of the impurities, the electrolytes, the binders, the plastics, everything holding that battery together. And at the end, we have a very pure black mass containing these critical metals that we want access to. All of this is enabled by our deep engineering capabilities in Comstock Engineering and Comstock Innovation, and our teams in Wisconsin and located all over the world doing this work. Corrado mentioned that we've designed and built a small system, we've designed a large system, and we can operate at every scale in between. This creates tremendous optionality for how we deploy this business. We can build massive facilities in locations where feedstock's available. We can distribute facilities for crushing close to feedstock at appropriate sizes and cut the logistics costs that our competitors are seeing in the market tremendously. So let's talk about how we've gone through this process and what we've done. We started about a year ago in the lab at very small scales, one little battery at a time, grams of black mass being produced. We went through a number of trialed and tested many methods, many parameters to find something that works. Our team then moved to an R&D scale system, which you can see in this picture here in our Wisconsin facility. This is a proprietary house-built piece of equipment that can process pounds of batteries at a time. Again, proving the same concepts we did in the lab at a larger scale. The next step was to look at the pilot scale system. This is a 3D render of the system our team designed. It can process tons of material per day. We went from grams to pounds to tons. Again, designed by our internal team, produced with our manufacturing partner overseas to our specifications, assembled by our team, all done in-house. We made a decision 6 or 7 months ago to place this pilot system in Wisconsin, not here in Nevada. We have our facility ready, but it's not permitted. In Wisconsin, we have R&D permits that enabled us to do this without delay. Also in Wisconsin, we have a really experienced team of R&D professionals, technicians, who have been developing systems like this for extraction of multiple materials for many, many years. And we were able to enable them immediately to get to work. So this is the drawing. Some people have seen this before. It looks nice. There's a lot of color on it. But this is more exciting. This is the system. It's sited there in Wisconsin right now. It's fairly large. You can see the forklift in the middle for scale, and it's operational. We started receiving this equipment at the beginning of in the first quarter of this year. We completed assembling it in April. We had a first run of batteries through it earlier this month, and we're continuing to run trials on this equipment today as we're sitting here. This machine can take an array of different types of batteries. These are fairly large batteries that have been processed through the system. The output, again, is a high purity black mass, which you see on the right side of this picture, and a separated stream of scrap metal on the left side of the picture. What I'm going to show you now is a video of the system spitting out this black mass. We're very excited that we've gotten to this stage. There's a lot of work that went into this, and it's now operational. So that's the work we've done on the technical side to date for black mass production, which positions us to move forward here with this business. Item number 2 is looking at receiving, sorting, and storage of batteries. We announced earlier in April that we've acquired a facility here in Nevada, 190 acres, that we're going to be setting up as the transfer station to accept and sort batteries for LiNiCo. It has immediate highway access to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, where LiNiCo's processing facility is located. It's going to be established as a long-term lease from Comstock to LiNiCo to operate this facility, and we're currently permitting the facility as a transfer station with Lyon County. There's no major obstacles we see in that permitting process, and we expect it to go through smoothly in the next couple months. It's critical that we have this transfer station in place. The suppliers of batteries have liability attached to those batteries at their end of life. They need assurances that we're properly handling those batteries when they come to us. And getting this facility up and running enables that, and enables us to start taking feedstock into our system. The third piece of the system is the Blackmass refinement at the end of the day. Now, we can sell the Blackmass as a product. We can also further refine it and sell it at a higher value in different forms. We've got 3 options that we're looking at for how we implement this in our facility. One Corrado mentions is our proprietary lithium first extraction process. This is actively in development and validation trials in our Wisconsin R&D facility right now. And we expect to have some significant results out of that process over the next weeks to months. We have already extracted lithium from the Blackmass. We know the process works, and we're evaluating the options for scale-up. In addition to this, we have 2 partners that we're working with. One is a company called Green Li-ion. Green Li-ion system produces cathode active material from Blackmass, the components needed to make new batteries directly. We're working with them to validate their system. We know the system works. We're validating the scale-up properties of it, the economics of implementing it. As well, Aqua Metals, who is a co-investor in LiNiCo with us, has a hydrometallurgical system that refines into pure metals, pure cobalt, pure nickel. As well, in development on their process, working closely with them, evaluating the economics of implementing that in our facility as well. We're going to make a decision by the end of the year. We're going to implement one of these next year. Over time, we may implement more than one of them. But our focus right now is what can we get to the market quickest with the best economics? And we've got a lot of options on the table. Our Blackmass and the purity of our Blackmass enables a lot of optionality for what we do with it and what value we can get from it. It's a big differentiator for LiNiCo. What's next? We've done a lot, and we have a lot more to do here for LiNiCo. First of all, our Nevada production facility. We're in the process right now of finalizing permits for that facility. There's 2 permits we need, a written determination and an air quality permit. Written determination's been submitted. The air quality permit is being submitted in the next days. Soon as these permits are issued for the facility, we'll be relocating that pilot plant, number 1, which I showed you, to this facility. We'll also be upgrading it based on lessons learned in Wisconsin. And we'll be constituting it as pilot number 2 with the capacity to process 5 tons per day. We expect this work to be started by the end of the year and completed soon after it started. At that point, we'll be producing Blackmass and scrap metals that will be sellable into the market. On the refinement side, again, as I said, we're completing validation of all of these systems. This will be going on through the fall. We'll be selecting and then permitting the facility to accept one of these processes as well, at which point we'll be commissioning a pilot system equivalent in size to the Blackmass system for downstream refinement, and begin commercial production at that pilot scale as well. This will mean an increase in the value of the products we produce in the near term. And the third item is feedstock. We've been working with multiple potential sources of battery feedstock for our system. We've been doing technical and economic analyses of these options, and we think we're very close to starting to announce supply agreements with key providers that'll service this system for long into the future. This includes universal waste handlers who collect and dispose of batteries today. It includes OEM battery manufacturers. It includes EV and device makers as well. As soon as the permits are in place at the transfer station, we're going to be ready to start accepting batteries, sorting them, and storing them, preparing them for processing. We expect those permits in the third quarter of this year and to be kicking this off very soon. In closing, we think LiNiCo is really positioned well for success. Our pilot for Blackmass has been validated and is complete. We have a proprietary process and equipment with maximum deployment flexibility that enables growth in many directions. We have the critical infrastructure we need for receiving and storage at the transfer station facility, and it will soon be permitted. We have multiple options for how we're going to refine and increase the value of our black mass, and we're on track for many more announcements in the coming months.